Skugtash, Anyan Jugug, Dani Kouyoumdjian, Anyan Object Chuksang. Tribal sovereignty can be defined as the harmonious connection between land, language, culture, and history. It enables a community to function not as domestic dependent nations, as defined by the Marshall Trilogy, but as fully autonomous entities capable of maintaining a civilization. In other words, the centuries and, indeed, millennia of knowledge collected, shared, and transmitted from O'odham to O'odham is a form of Indigenous law governing the relationship with the natural environment. Moreover, it is the ability to maintain cultural continuity that forms the backbone of this sovereignty, but also helps to further define the relationship with the natural world. Indeed, it is this traditional ecological knowledge that has allowed my community to create food systems with the means to regulate blood sugars and provide the sustenance needed to take care of this desert biome in which we make our home. Before the government commodity boxes, with their destructive combination of lard, white flour, and sugar, we were distance runners who made the salt pilgrimage to the Gulf of California. In the modern era, my community suffers from diabetes, hypertension, and cancers at one of the highest rates in the world. Increased temperatures threaten the traditional food sources of my community and the biodiversity of the Sonoran Desert. Invasive species like bufflegrass take root during droughts and provide excellent kindling for wildflowers, decimating the saguaro population. The O'odham view the saguaro, or Hashan, like family members, and this loss is a threat to cultural continuity. Moreover, the O'odham hymn dog is dependent upon the maintenance and reclamation of these traditional foodways. Indigenous food sovereignty, self-determination, and cultural continuity are vital components of O'odham hymn dog, of which the Hashan figures prominently in and is in dire need of protection. In the beginning, the Ithoi entrusted the care and maintenance of the Jewett to the Tohono. A peaceful, harmonious coexistence was only possible through the mutual respect and establishment of symbiotic relationships between the plants, animals, and O'odham. There is an inextricable link between this relationship and the overall well-being of O'odham society as a whole. Dr. Tristan Reeder elaborates further, introducing the notion of the O'odham as an agriculture, a civilization built around planting, harvesting, ceremonial cycles, and food preparation. It is through this lens that we must view the O'odham, the resourceful and innovative experts in desert agriculture. Since time immemorial, the O'odham possessed an intimate understanding of the delicate balance that exists in the Sonoran Desert. If you hunt too many deer or harvest too much cactus fruit, the entire ecosystem is impacted. Of course, deserts are also environments known for extreme temperatures and arid climates, so the practical and spiritual significances of the rain ceremonies centered around the blooming of the Ha'ashan and the corresponding Bayadach harvest are put into sharp relief. The yearly arrival of the monsoon season was an absolute necessity to support the floodwater farming technique known as Akchin. The O'odham used, and still use, the deluge of rainwater flowing from the mountains and desert washes to irrigate their flood-prone crops. Staples of the traditional O'odham diet, like bao, hal, and hoon, were successfully cultivated in this manner for centuries, a proud tradition that continues today in the shadow of mountains and in the mouths of arroyos throughout southern Arizona. Moreover, the abundance brought forth through the rainy season became a stabilizing force in the establishment of O'odham culture. The ability to supplement their hunting and wild foraging with consistent harvests that ensured that generations of O'odham would spring up from the Jewett. Accordingly, the noble Ha'ashan became central in O'odham's social, cultural, and religious life. The ripening of the Ha'ashan fruit signified the coming rains and subsequent seeding. In order to maintain this reliable source of irrigation, the Bayadach harvest, the fermentation of Nawayat, and the days of ceremonial songs served as sacrament to ensure the continued prosperity of the O'odham. The impetus behind this Bayadach harvest is twofold. One, the Nawayat ceremony is necessary to pull down the clouds, releasing the vital rainfall that is required for the auction farming to be a success, but two, it is a larger acknowledgement by the Atham of the cyclical nature of the world. The Hahashan blooms prior to the rains, signaling to the Atham that it is time to ask for the clouds to release their rains. To accomplish this, they must work together and harvest the blossoming fruit. Days of songs and ceremonial Noahide consumption are held in honor and reverence of the natural world and its ability to give, but also to destroy. Once the rains come, the seeding season begins and leads into the harvest, supporting a population of Otham for this generation and for the ones to come. The cycle continues, but it could also end abruptly. In other words, the Bayadash harvest and the Noahide ceremonies became an integral part of Otham culture, serving as a bulwark against the mercurial nature of the world. With rising temperatures and droughts, climate change threatens the Otham hymdog. According to a 2008 study by the U.S. Global Change Research Program, Indigenous people are disproportionately impacted by climate change due to a multitude of factors, ranging from generational trauma, lack of infrastructure or resources, and abrogated resource treaties and compacts. Furthermore, the shifting climate patterns and prolonged droughts impact the establishment of the Hahashan, whose seedlings require moist soils in their nascent stages. If drier climates with extended droughts become our new normal, then the future of the Hahashan is in jeopardy. Additionally, the historic 2021 monsoon season broke records for rainfall, but was it also an ill omen of things to come? The Tohono Nation has a robust climate change action plan that addresses infrastructure concerns for citizens living in their ancestral homeland, the Sonoran Desert. This plan includes strategies for water, energy, and land usage. Indeed, it is a marvel of the spirit of the Iwuntha, which means working together. Thanks to the Director of Water Resources, Mr. Celso Villegas, I had the honor to read the massive report. However, one area of opportunity within the Climate Change Action Plan is the preservation of our traditional crops and plants, including the Hashan. In our conversations, Mr. Villegas and I agreed upon the importance of individual grassroots ownership of our ethnobotany and traditional ecological knowledge. Moreover, we discovered strategies that might be implemented in the future: a seed vault to preserve our legacy of plants, expanding access to our seed libraries, continuing partnerships with tribal and non-tribal organizations that are invested in Otham food sovereignty, Mission Gardens and Native Seed Search in Tucson, and the University of Arizona's IRES program are just some of the organizations that come to mind. Additionally, Mr. Villegas was excited to share with me that in January of 2024, several Otham-led organizations, including the Aho Center for Sustainability, as well as several tribal government committees, will be meeting together in a historic summit to discuss how climate change is impacting our traditional foods and plants. It is his hope, as well as mine, that the summit will add to the robust Otham Climate Change Action Plan and come up with effective strategies to preserve our traditional foods for generations to come. However, one doesn't need to become part of a governmental organization to take part in cultural preservation. It is my firm belief that the transmission and protection of cultural knowledge begins at home. To this end, I have curated a small introduction to Otham crops and traditional plants, with harvesting and planting guides for Otham of all ages to take part in preserving our way of life, but also providing the means to feed their families in the same way our ancestors did. Together, we have the power to preserve our traditional ecological knowledge, like Akchin farming and the cultivation of barley, un, and hal. We might be a nation of only 34,000 members, but if each one of us makes a commitment to growing and harvesting the food of our ancestors, we will truly be unstoppable. Tahoe, Sapo.